Hey there, if you're watching this video, you've hopefully typed in Athens, Georgia, and are asking some questions. And this is our video on pros and cons. We're going to give you a list of things that are great about Athens, Georgia, and a list about the things that aren't, because there are cons about this part of the state and living here in Athens, Georgia. We're trying to do a bunch of videos that not only give you information on real estate that we always do, our market updates or specific real estate neighborhoods, but also continue general information on the area. We have so many people asking questions that will call in and at times even ask a place to go to eat. So we're just going to fill it up with information. And this is our video on the pros and cons of living in Athens, Georgia. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Right there, you're looking at City Hall, which is downtown. And that's going to be one of the pros we're probably going to talk about. Let me move my head up a little here. And we're going to start from number one and work our way instead of going 10 down. We're going to do it the reverse way. We're going to start at the top and kind of work to 10. Well, first of all, number one, probably the biggest pro, as anybody would know, is the University of Georgia. It is the state university of Georgia, located right here in Athens, the Georgia Bulldogs. It is the biggest economic driver of our entire community. It's constantly bringing new people into town. So we always have new students. Each year you get a new crop of freshmen, new grad students, professors, employees always moving about, and really just sporting events in general, too. If you think about all the kind of things that go on at the university that are constantly bringing people into town, that helps almost every part of Athens real estate and any other small business in town. We're really fortunate to have all we do because of this large university. Number two, which might be a little controversial given the times of increasing real estate prices, but the cost of living is actually relatively low when you compare it to other metropolitans. City of Atlanta, very close by. Obviously, if you start to look at places, other metropolitans like Nashville, Charlotte, and then as you go across the country, we talk about bigger cities where it's obviously cheaper to live. Now, the surrounding counties also have a pretty lower cost of living. So Clark County is in the center, and then you have 5 counties that surround that. And in some of those counties, you're going to have an even lower cost of living, affordability of price of land and homes. So that's actually one of the pros. We had to put that number 2. Now, as we go to number 3, we combine 3 things into one: music, art, and food. Being a college town, Athens has a great music scene, a great art scene, and lots of great food. There's live music at various venues almost every day and every night. As you look here, that's the Georgia Theater. Somebody took a picture of the drive-by truckers we're going to play, and that's one of our very historic venues. That's a great bar, a great place to go see live music. The 40 Watt is also a great, well-known place. There is a amphitheater being built in downtown Athens right now to host larger acts. And in this downtown area, there are a ton of great restaurants. We'll actually do a video where we specifically talk about places to eat. But furthermore, this is an eclectic and open and college town that is just very encouraging of art in all its forms. And it's just one of the best parts about our community, frankly. Number 4, another pro, housing options. There are a lot of different types of housing. Traditional homes that you think of with a yard and the white picket fence, apartments, condos, historic lofts downtown. As you go to the neighboring counties, you can get into a little bit more of a rural setting where you might have more acreage, a little bit more privacy. There's a lot of different options instead of being just in town. And even in town, there's a lot of options from there. On to number 5, events year-round. Probably my favorite part of living in Athens. I've lived here since 1999, except for about 6 months. And this picture right here is of the Twilight Bike Race that takes place in April. So there's always something going on. Like there's the Twilight Criterium, there's Athfest, which is in June. Athfest is a music festival held downtown in various establishments and in the streets. Porch Fest, which is held in October, which is basically done on the Boulevard, Pulaski Heights area. Bands playing on front porches, really fun thing. The Wild Rumpus, which is also around Halloween, which is in downtown Athens, is a fun event to get dressed up, go downtown. There's literally something going on at UGA all the time, and we're going to talk about that next. That there's usually various things that you can go do on any given time. Number 6, it's a good place to retire. You didn't think of Athens as being a retirement town, but it's really turned into that in a lot of ways. We have several popular retirement communities. Oak Grove has turned into a place where a lot of retirees like to go because of the style of homes. A lot of them can be one level. Georgia Club, a golf course community located just past the Oconee County line. Very popular. New nursing home facility, has various levels of living, either with assistance or not, at Presbyterian Homes. And it's a great place to pursue, not purse, other education after you're retired because of the University of Georgia. So we see a lot of people do that. They'll go take classes at UGA well into their 60s, 70s after retirement. Now, number 7, which a lot of people might have put this first, but a lot of people may not. UGA Football. Like you see the stadium back there, it's just empty. That's Sanford Stadium looking out northeast towards South Carolina in the background. But at least 6 times a year, we're going to have Georgia SEC home games, which bring a ton of people in the community. These things are fun for adults, they're fun for kids. It's fun to tailgate. There are people in town that might call this a con because of all the traffic that comes into it. But there's also a lot of other events during the year, like baseball at Foley Field, basketball, various things like women's softball, women's gymnastics, women's basketball game. There are a lot of great things that you can do around UGA athletics. Number 8, you may not realize this, but Athens, Georgia is close to a lot of things. Number 1, Atlanta. You're an hour away from a flight anywhere in the world. That's a big advantage of this town because we're close to it, but we don't have to put up with it. And, when you look at Athens, Georgia, and you go in all directions, if you go north, you're going to be in the mountains extremely quickly, basically less than an hour. And you're also close to very many recreational lakes around the state of Georgia. If you're not from Georgia, you may not know this, but a lot of our lakes are man-made for Georgia Power. It's where we get a lot of our electricity. So right around Athens, you're looking at Lake Oconee, Lake Russell, Lake Lanier, Lake Burton, Lake Hartwell, Lake Sinclair. These are all recreational lakes where people tube, they water ski, they go float around. We go up to Lake Burton a good bit when we get a chance. And so Athens doesn't have a large body of water, but it is close to several large bodies of water. We're going to end on these last 2 for the pros, and then we'll quickly hit the cons. What are some more pros? Lastly, 4 distinct seasons. I personally am a South Georgia boy. I grew up in Valdosta for 18 years, and Valdosta has winter and summer. And Valdosta is a great town, but what I loved about Athens was there were 4 seasons. The azaleas are going to bloom in the spring along with the dogwoods. You're not far from the Masters in Augusta if you ever get a chance to go. You're going to have beautiful leaves in the fall, crisp air that we like to see on campus around football season. And when I first came to town, I actually got to see snow on a regular basis. Not that we get a lot of it, but there's a chance once or twice a year you're going to see some snow on the ground in Athens, Georgia. And again, like most places in the South, you get a long summer, so you have a lot of time to do activities. Go to those lakes I just mentioned, play golf, various things, hike that you want to do. Number 10, lots to do, and it's kind of just easy. I mean, I'd make a note here. There's great local breweries throughout Athens. You might have heard of Creature Comforts, which we'll cover in other videos. Very popular brand. On any given day, you can do a brewery tour, do the beer crawl. It's also easy to go out. This is not a place where it's a big ordeal to get an Uber, or it's a big ordeal to go out and get a reservation. A night out on the town in Athens is a very simple thing to do. It's not hard and usually not very expensive. And it's also just not a hassle to get anywhere. I often tell people when they come to town, you're at most, worst case, 15 minutes from somewhere, maybe 20. And that's a long drive in Athens, Georgia. And there's just lots of places to go, golf, tennis, hike, various things as we already covered. So that's 8 minutes of telling you what's so great about Athens. And we're going to spend this last minute, because there are cons, we will tell you some of the cons of Athens, Georgia. As I mentioned before, number 1 as a pro was UGA. Well, that's kind of a con too. Number 1, too many students. You got to take the good with the bad. So while the students are great, they bring a lot of youth and energy and makes our community vibrant. If you move or live in Athens, you're going to find a time when you are aggravated by the students, either the mass of them, or if you live close to 5 Points, maybe they're playing their music at 11:30 at night when they shouldn't be. But you take the good with the bad. Number 2, this one really just applies to Clark County mostly, not the neighboring counties. We have high property taxes. A lot of people say that Georgia is surprised at our tax rate. But if you think about it, Clark County is the smallest state in the state of Georgia. And Clark County has the largest tax-free landholder in the University of Georgia. So it does stand to reason that would probably make the property taxes a little higher here. Number 4, I'll go to number 3, summer construction, something you may not know. When the students leave in the summer, you can set your watch that the streets of Athens and various roads will be closed because they are taking the opportunity to get construction done. It is smart that they do it in the summer, but every year it is a tremendous pain in the rear end to get around town. Number 4, summer heat. Folks, this is Georgia. I'm doing this video at the end of July, and it's probably going to be 93 degrees today. Depending on the humidity, it can be worse. It can feel worse, but summer heat is a real thing here in Georgia. I talked about cost of living as a pro. Well, the reality is because of the pandemic and things in our area being so popular, we are seeing a rise in real estate values like we've never seen before. That's pretty much true across the country. But that is a negative because where you might have moved 5 years ago, it's less affordable now than it was. Now, we also have options all around Clark County that are much more affordable. I talked about being close to lakes in one of our pros. Well, the con is we really don't have one here. You can drive an hour and be at several lakes, but there is no central body of water here in Athens. That could definitely be a con. Along with a pro, we love Georgia football, but game days can be a hassle. If you're not a Bulldog fan, you're not going to love it because you might want to stay out of the 5 Points area or the downtown area. Because when Tennessee or Auburn or any of these teams come in to play Georgia, it's going to be a big day about town. I personally love it, but some people would call that a con. Campus traffic. There are times of the day, if you live in town in the central part of Athens, you need to learn the neighborhood roads. You're not going to want to drive straight down Lumpkin to downtown at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday when classes are changing. You're not going to want to go down Millage at 3 o'clock on a Friday because of UGA and Clark Central. So there is traffic very central in. It's not that bad. You're just going to have to learn how to deal with it and how to navigate it. And lastly, we will say if you look up, they have a very high poverty rate in Clark County, and that is an issue that needs to continually be worked on. It's unfortunate that you can see so many great properties not that far away from something that might be government housing or somebody that might be living in poverty. But that is an issue in the community. But overall, we absolutely love this town. And if you live in Athens, I don't know why you're looking at this video, but you can take up any you can argue with us about what the pros and cons are. But if you're looking at this and considering a move, we are 5 Market Realty, homes for sale in Athens, Georgia. This is our group. Email us at athensga@5mrealty.com. And if you're coming to town or considering, contact. Even if you're not ready to look at a house, we'll be happy to send you in the right direction to something fun to do or a good place to go eat. We love it when people come to town and support our local businesses. Thanks for sticking with us on Pros and Cons for 12 minutes now.